Hello, we are live. How are you? This is the Beyond Awesome show. I should just turn this around so I can say hello. Thank you for joining. My name is Lynnie Wennerstrom, creator of CrazyAwesomeHealthyYou.com. Hey, Lone Tree Productions. Doo-doo-doo! We're here. We are having fun. We are with Heather Little Jones. I'm going to turn this around in a minute so you can see what's going on. But we are going to talk about first of all, if you know anybody or if you have had low energy, hey Christy, you're back, girly. Woo! So we're just gonna have a lot of fun with this because if you've ever been low energy, or if you know anybody, or if you've had fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome or any of those things, I have somebody that you will want to meet. And she is a colleague, a peer, an awesome friend of mine. And I'm going to introduce you to right here. Sorry about that. Let me just turn around so you don't see my big face. You guys so incredibly mucho. That is Heather Little Jones. See the girly? Doo-doo-doo. Hey, Christy. Christy's back. Okay. Yeah.
Hi.
So Heather Little Jones. She's a results coach. She's based in England, in Lincoln, England is where she lives. That's what, Heather, what'd you say, 3 hours on the train from London?
Yeah, a couple of hours from London north, so everywhere's a couple of hours from London. This country is so tiny.
I don't know, 2 hours is kind of a long time. Hey, the napkin dad. Oh my gosh, he was on past the talent. So Heather specializes in helping her clients who are energy depleted build their energy back up again. Oh, nice. Okay, Christy, you just come in and out as you'd like to. Heather has an incredibly inspiring story. She was once depleted herself. She had ME, which is called in the UK, or I guess in Europe, and chronic fatigue syndrome here. And she also, weren't you diagnosed with fibromyalgia?
I was, yes, I was indeed, back in 2000, and I'd already had it for some time when I was diagnosed, so yeah, years and years.
Yeah. So again, Heather has an incredibly and inspiring story to share with us, how all of this has evolved for her. But she also, like, here's the thing with us when we are into health, we never stop studying. We are
Yes,
we are
we never
students. Yeah, we are here, I'll turn this back. We are students first and foremost. That is what we do. We study health like crazy. Oh, I know. I love her accent too, Christy. That's why she's my friend, so I can listen to her accent. Otherwise, she wouldn't be my friend. I'm just kidding. So anyway, but that is what we do. We study health like crazy. And what Heather has embarked upon is studying the hormone leptin, which is the hormone that regulates our fat. So yes, I know, Tupperware lady. So let's get back to Heather now. Like, dig in with her because she knows a lot more than I do for sure on this. Actually, she knows a lot more of everything than I do. But but she's just amazing. So Heather, just start with yourself. Tell us a little bit about. And by the way, everybody, Heather, it might start raining because she's in London. So it might start raining. So she might have to make a mad dash. So let's get right into this. So Heather, tell us a little bit about you. You had fibromyalgia or ME. Well, let's see. Let's start. You had very, very low energy, and that started when you were a teenager, right?
Yeah, when I was 19, I had no clue what was happening. But I was still a functioning person then, but it all started, I had, a very stressful job. It all started to go pear-shaped. By 2000 is when I was diagnosed, and I got progressively more and more disabled from then on until by 2007, I was bedridden, in a lot of pain all the time. I could never get any relief from the pain. If I went out, it was in a wheelchair, or on a really good day, I'd shuffle along with a walking stick. And I decided I had to do something about it because it was either I couldn't bear that any longer, so I had to do something about it. So I thought, well, okay, before I go and find a bus to jump under, I'm going to go and see is there something I can do about it? Because, it's just, I might as well pull out all the stops, do everything that I can. And I found a way. It's amazing. I started doing the raw vegan thing, but the stuff that really makes a difference day to day, as you know, is the stuff that you're teaching your lovely people. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and it worked so well that I decided that I wanted to become a coach and help other people to get similar results with other low energy conditions. So that's what I do. But like you say, never stop learning.
Yeah, and by the way, she's not a health coach. She is a results coach, because she gets results for her clients and the people that follow her. I even call her for advice. So, but the one thing that it just really intrigued me, we were just chatting the other day, and she was, and Heather, you were talking to me about leptin, the hormone leptin, that, right, because your clients, or you, like, you're trying to get rid of just the extra fat or something that you exercise, you have all this energy and everything. And so, gosh, before we get into that, let's just go a little deeper, and we'll come back to that in just a minute, but let's just go a little deeper into, like, the steps of what that you had to take, if you don't mind, to get rid to get your energy back up again from zero to, like, beyond amazing hero, that kind of silliness.
Okay.
But awesomeness.
The first step I need to take is from outdoors to indoors, because it's
no.
just started to rain.
Oh no.
I'm trying to, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're getting all kinds of hearts. Yay. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of feedback.
Right. Plug back in.
Oh,
Sorry
yeah,
about
okay.
that. Yeah,
I know you've done a million.
Okay.
Hello.
I don't know if you can even see me. It's so dark in here.
I know, well, it's dark on my end too, but that's okay. We're doing amazing.
This is England after all. It
Yeah.
does rain.
Hey, Tammy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay, so by the way, Heather, the way Periscope works, Heather is new to Periscope. Hey, Raja, but Heather's new to Periscope. So what happens, Heather, is that people will interject with comments, and then we'll address those comments as we go, because are questions. So yes, look at all the love. I know, I see all the love. They're giving you hearts like crazy. Okay, so yeah. So go ahead and tell us, like, where would somebody start when they have low energy, and like, how would they know where they're at? Like, tell us how you started, because you had nothing.
Yeah, well, when I started, I didn't have a real clue what I was doing. I just had a feeling, intuitive feeling that there was something that I could do about my lifestyle and my diet that would help, and that's where I started experimenting. But what I understand now is that fibromyalgia and other illnesses like it they're basically stress disorders. But when I talk about stress, I don't mean the kind of stress, like workplace stress, not just that. I also mean, internal emotional stress. I mean physical stresses that your body has to deal with, like when you eat food that's not really meant for humans, and like processed foods and whatnot, and stresses like environmental toxins coming into your body through the air you breathe and water. It's basically a stress disorder, and even if you do not have a condition like fibromyalgia, ME, chronic fatigue, even multiple sclerosis, I mean, those are the things at the extreme end of the spectrum. It is a spectrum, and so anybody who is suffering with low energy day on day, the same things that fix the extreme stuff are going to help you, fix the less extreme stuff and stop it from getting to the other end of the spectrum.
So then you're talking about nutrition, you're talking about the things that we teach as just common sense health. So hydrating, mindful eating, and knowing what you're putting into your body, what you're putting on your body, and lotions,
all
and
the stuff that you're teaching your people. Yes, all the stuff that we do. But actually, for me, when I'm working one-on-one with a client, what we tend to focus on more than anything else is mindset, because mindset is where all the stress happens, other than the purely physical things like, EMFs and toxins that you breathe in and all that kind of thing. The rest of it is all about, the longer I do this, the...
Uh-oh, we froze.
No.
Oh,
we froze.
No, it's fine now. It's fine. Go ahead. Keep on rocking, sister.
So yeah, the longer I do this, the more I focus on on mindset and emotions, because that's where 95% of the action is, and that's what people need the most help with. So yeah, we do all the stuff that's in your book, which is amazing, by the way, and I love it. And I just hope so many people read that, because everybody needs to know about that stuff. Everybody needs to be doing that stuff, whether they're low energy or not. But yeah, the mindset stuff is where people tend to need the most help when it comes to coaching and stuff.
And so when it comes to low energy, what do you mean by mindset? What would somebody do in order to change their mindset to get healthier, to have more energy? Thank you for inviting your followers, Janet.
Well, it's really about a misunderstanding about what mental and emotional stress actually is. We tend to think of it as something that happens to us, that comes, that experiences that happen in the external world are what give us stress, and certain situations and places are more stressful than others. And what I help people to gain an insight about is that actually stress is all about what's going on between your ears, what thoughts you are having about the experiences that are going on out there. And so, if you think about any situation that you can be in, there is always someone who can handle that with little or no stress. There's always someone who can handle that stuff, and if one person can do it, we can all do it. It's about how we process what's happening to us up here. So that's where we focus.
Oh, exactly.
So,
and what you said, it's like it's putting yourself in the driver's seat of life, and the way I see it, and not having that victim mentality of exactly what you said. I love that, because it's really what's between your ears, and it's in your head. It's all in your head. It's like there are only two fears that we were born with, right? The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. If you take a baby, right, and you clap like boom, right, they go whoa. They make it, but and if if a baby starts to drop, the same thing. All the rest are learned, so we can unlearn them, correct? Absolutely true. And so unless you have, a psycho with an axe just about to sink that axe in your head, there's usually nothing to really be stressed about in the immediate moment. And it's coming back to the present moment that brings us that quieter space where we can see past our own fears and our own thoughts. And I'm delighted that you mentioned that word victim, because that's something that is particularly challenging for people with conditions like fibromyalgia. We tend to get into this victim mindset where we feel we don't have any control or power over our life. Stuff is happening to us. We have responsibilities that we can't cope with. It's a really, really bad place to be. And a lot of what happens physically is a downstream effect of that. Boy, that's true. Okay, so now, in order to, 95% is mindset, right? And now we progress to the physical in order to get to gain energy. So yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. And I know we kind of address like what's in my book, but a lot of people don't know what's in my book. So let's kind of briefly go over that, and then let's hit leptin, the hormone leptin. Let's have a discussion on that.
Stuff, yeah. Yeah, okay, well, the foundational practices that you and I and everybody needs to be doing, it's all about making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you are breathing in a way that gets oxygen actually where it needs to go, and that's keeping your system in a beautifully quiet mode instead of signaling your body that you're in stress because you're breathing from your chest all the time, pant, 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 which is the way most people breathe. So breathing from the ribs and the belly in a way that just keeps the system in balance. So hydration, breathing, clean diet, all of that, the really foundational stuff, isn't it? Lynnie, right. It's you've just got to be doing that stuff whether you're unwell or not, really.
Oh, exactly. And that just levels you up. Even if you don't feel unwell, you can feel way more well when you do level up that way.
Yeah, the way I think of it is, our bodies were designed to handle a certain amount of stress. And again, by stress, I mean, physical onslaught as well, physical stuff that's going on. And our bodies have they have a certain amount of strength, but if we are continually undermining that strength by eating a lot of processed foods and wheat and sugar and industry farm meat and all of everybody knows what that stuff is.
Praja just said she changed her breathing and her life totally changed. Go Praja! That's awesome.
Done. Yeah. Yes. Isn't that amazing? Just doing the breathing, just changing the breathing can be enough to tip the balance. And this is what I was saying. There's so much that we do that weakens the strength of our body, that weakens the capacity of our body to handle that stress.
Right.
And that's what doing these foundational practices is all about. And sometimes just changing your breathing can change your life. So fantastic that someone's already done that.
Oh,
Yay.
I know. That is awesome. So, okay, well then so now that's a perfect segue into now when you just can't lose, like you're doing everything right, you're eating correctly, you're hydrating, you're exercising, you've got your mindset in gear, and you're doing it, and you're like, I want to do this, and I'm doing it, and then you just like hit a wall, and so with your weight, like you just can't lose those 5 extra pounds, they just won't come off. That is leptin?
99 times out of 100, yes, that's the way it's looking. As I say, this isn't something that I'm putting material out on because I'm not any sort of expert on this. This is something that is happening to me. I've experienced weight gain, and I'm starting to, I've been sleeping badly for a while, and I also, I've been through menopause, and I noticed that I was really starting to pack on the pounds, and whereas in the past I'd always been able to lose it easily, just by cutting down on the carbs and just eating a bit cleaner or whatever, it was easy to lose, and it will not shift. This time around it will not shift, and it feels so unfair. It's like I do everything right, I'm so good, I'm angelically good, and it just won't shift, and I absolutely hate it. So that's been my point of focus, and actually it's not just for me, it's for future clients as well, because the more I go into this, the more I realise that leptin resistance is a big problem. And I would say that almost everybody with a low energy condition and weight gain and poor sleep, that's going to be a really key problem. I didn't realise just how it's a real master hormone, this leptin stuff, and the more I go into it, the more I realise, oh my God, that's causing such and such a problem, it's causing that problem, and so got to fix that stuff. Boy.
That's interesting that you say low energy on that. Real quick, I'm just going to introduce you on to our replayers. This is Heather Little Jones that I am interviewing today. She is she's a results coach. She's based in case you're wondering about that awesome accent that us United Staters love. She's from England, from Lincoln, England, and she specializes in helping her clients like boom. Yeah, just like amp up their energy. Sorry, I'm talking to you here now. I've got camera on camera. So, so anyway, I'm very excited to have her. She's a friend. She's a peer. She's a confidant. She's everything to me. So I'm just really grateful she would take time to chat with you guys, and that we can have a conversation together about this, because she's on the track to studying leptin herself for herself and her clients, the hormone leptin, which regulates our fat. So. The lady with the accent, she is Heather Little Jones. Okay, so amazing that, oh, thank you, Janet. You always look fabulous. We look fab. So Janet just said that we look fabulous. I do.
Thank you.
So so I didn't know about low energy, but that would make sense, because inflammation, so the cortisol, I mean, whether it be stress or whatever, I mean, that's going to attract more inflammation, especially around the middle of your gut. Does cortisol in your, because we're just having this conversation because you're just studying it, but does the stress and having the cortisol and having it be in your gut area and then attract more inflammation in that gut area, because cortisol, inflammation attracts inflammation, does any of that have anything to do with leptin?
Oh, big time, yeah. Stress is the number one thing that can take your leptin out of balance. And what we're talking about, just to be, for anyone who hasn't heard of this leptin thing, basically it's the hormone that your fat uses to send a signal to the brain to say that there is enough fuel on board, that you have enough fat stores, that you're getting enough food. The fat, when it works properly, the fat cells will send a signal to the brain that say, okay, we don't need to eat much food now because we've got plenty on board. We've got fuel stores, fat stores for the future, and it's all good. But what happens when we are stressed and, stuff that goes on that knocks our leptin out of balance, a poor diet of processed foods, but yeah, stress is the number one, is the fat cells are still sending the leptin out, but there's so much of it sloshing around all the time that the brain kind of shuts down and says, oh, okay, I've heard enough of that, I don't want to hear anymore. You keep knocking on the door, I'm going to shut the door.
Like insulin. Same concept. So it's knocking on the door. Yeah. Okay. Can I just explain just a little bit? That's like the little boy who cried woof, right? And then the villagers, they just say, oh, that's just a little boy crying woof again. And then the wolf really comes one day and it eats up all the sheep. It's that's how I look at like leptin and look at insulin, because the cells are saying, yeah, it's just insulin knocking on the door, da, 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 right? And same thing, is that the same thing then with leptin?
Yeah, the two things are closely related, actually. Leptin resistance, insulin resistance go together. And what I only fairly recently learned is that you cannot physically, it's impossible to burn fat when there is insulin in your blood. And of course, if you are insulin resistant, then it's almost always there. That's the problem. It's always sloshing around in your system. So that's why you can't lose weight when it doesn't matter what you do. So.
I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. That would make sense, because you're not getting the, well, I guess I'd have to think through that. But wow, that's interesting. So if you if you're insulin resistant, then you're not going to be able to lose fat. Exactly, you can't burn. You can't burn fat. The metabolic pathway that allows that to happen just isn't present. It's not set up and working yet, so you just can't do it. And it's also the reason, the main reason I'd say why, if you have really low energy, you should not be doing high intensity exercise, fasting, deep cleansing, all that kind of stuff, because if you're in leptin resistance, you do not have the metabolic pathways set up and working that allow you to benefit from those things. It just exhausts you, it depletes your adrenals even more, it makes the whole thing worse. So if anybody is suffering from a low energy condition, I would say the number one thing is to just be really kind to yourself. All of these the detox stuff that is out there, it's amazing, it's great, and people get amazing results with it. But if you are leptin resistant and your energy is severely depleted and your adrenals are just shutting down, that is not the place to start. It'll make it worse. You need to build yourself up with really, really nutrient-dense foods, lots of mineral-rich foods, and get your reserves back into some kind of shape. Get your leptin resistance fixed, and only then, when you've been stable for a few months, that's when you can start doing the detox stuff. Does that make sense? Oh yeah. So being kind to yourself is remineralizing your body, because basically it's a lack of mineralization, and what would you suggest that if somebody is really low energy, because it could be so many things, but where would they start? We talked about bone broth. And what kind of diet would people, what would they use?
That's interesting. I'm figuring out for myself at the moment, using myself as guinea pig, as to what is actually likely to work best. And fixing leptin resistance is about, it's all the stuff your grandma taught you, really, getting up at a sensible time in the morning, and having a good protein breakfast, clean protein breakfast within an hour of waking. And I know that would be really hard for some people, certainly hard for me, because I've not been a breakfast person for a long time. I'm happy just with the lemon and salt water,
I know.
don't tend to.
When you're low energy, you seriously do not even feel like eating.
No,
That's
exactly.
like the last thing on your. I mean, it's just one more thing you have to do.
Yeah. And I've been experimenting with non-animal protein breakfasts. Like this morning, I had something that it was great. It felt really good. It was what I call sort of swamp sludge, which was a freshly pressed green juice with a load of high nutrient, high nutrient powders in it, like chlorella, spirulina, hemp protein powder, barley grass, and even some collagen powder, just to really get a big protein hit. And I thought, well, that feels really good in my body, but it would be a really tough sell to anybody because it tastes vile.
Oh gosh, I know.
It tastes absolutely rank.
I know. I mean, it's like those things. You really have to just really know that your goal is to have like really high energy. and that's the whole deal with that kind of stuff.
It helps if you don't think of it as food, just think of it as medicine. This is my medicine that's going to make me feel better. And all the kind of medicine that does you good always tastes rough. So
Hippocrates, there you are. You're back. Different gender, different hair, but you're back. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. That was Hippocrates 2,000 years ago.
Absolutely.
Okay, so and now you're also what else are you experimenting with as far as food goes, and have you had any success?
Well, I had been very stable on a diet that suited me, because everyone has to find what their sort of their good food zone is, if you like. Everyone's slightly different. And for me, that was stable for a long time until, as I say, I started realizing that I'd had a very, very stressful year. The last 15 months had been very stressful for me, and it's over now. But I think that was the really key thing for me, and so that diet just wasn't really ticking all the boxes for me anymore. So yeah, I'm experimenting with a bit more animal protein, which is a struggle for me because it's not something I naturally want to eat.
Right.
And I'm looking at things like the specific carbohydrate diet and the GAPS diet, which are things that are specifically designed to help heal an inflamed gut. When your small intestine gets leaky and inflamed because of the processed foods that have gone into it, and just testing some of that just to see if this is something that might be good for people with low energy and weight problems. It's kind of I'm doing a leptin reset with all of these foods that you see on things like the SCD diet and GAPS diet and whatnot. But it's a challenge because animal protein does not come naturally to me.
And the SCD diet, what is involved in that? Was the specific? Say what it is.
Specific carbohydrate diet. Yeah, it's just about cutting your diet back initially to really, really simple foods that are known to be easy to digest, like clean meats, bone broths, and non-starchy vegetables, and some of the safe fruits. And then from that sort of core where you get comfortable and your gastrointestinal distress is responding, and you're starting to feel much better. From that safe point, you then sort of expand outwards and expand your diet and start to reintroduce more and more foods and see how they feel in your body. So it's great because you end up building a custom diet for yourself that just suits you, because you kind of expand what you're eating.
Yeah.
And you test and see what goes well for you.
Okay, so
it's fun.
Yeah, and so Renee just asked how you lose belly fat, and this is pretty much what we're talking about, Renee. We're talking about the hormone leptin and how it controls our it's the like your satiety hormone. So it tells you when you've had enough to eat, but when it's not working, then you don't know and you keep on eating. So
exactly.
like processed foods totally don't even like get it to raise its head from sleep, right? I mean, it just like you.
Yeah, I remember my sister. She put something on Facebook that said, she was so sick of finding herself going to the cupboard all the time and eating even when she knew she didn't. She said, I feel like a badly programmed robot. It was like she had no will in the matter. And it's exactly how it feels when your leptin is out of balance like that. You're hungry all the time, and it gets to the point where it's beyond willpower. You can't control it with willpower. And that's when you need to come back to do something like this and get that protein breakfast in the morning, eat 3 meals a day with a good, no snacking, and make sure that you finished eating at least 3 hours before you go to bed. It's all about timing and not snacking and giving your body a chance to clear down in between meals, that kind of thing. So
Renee just asked, he just asked if this means should he go vegetarian. What would be your answer to that?
Actually, all of these diets that I'm exploring at the moment, they seem to be saying that clean animal proteins are more, they are, what's the word? They are higher quality protein than vegetarian ones. So actually it's more difficult to do this if you're vegetarian, but I'm testing that route as well, just in case, there are going to be people who just do not want to eat the meat, no matter, whether it'll help to heal them or not.
Renee, you're watching two women who have been vegans for a long time, that are both trying to experiment with animal products and protein. So anyway, he says, well, what she just said, Renee, was what kind of meat? So clean meat. So when she says clean, she means no hormones, no. So basically organic, grass-fed meat, and maybe not like a whole bunch of red meat, but just different kinds of meat, but always grass-fed and just always organic. Just the way it is in nature. That's what you want to look for, right? And would you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, what I'd say is that what seems to be coming out is that we rely, in our culture, mainstream eating, we rely too much on muscle meat. That's, the steaks and the joints and whatever. We eat a lot of muscle meat, which is acidic. And yes, it's potent nutritionally, but human beings were designed to eat nose to tail. So, we have to eat the other parts of the animal as well. In order to balance that. So you need to be eating also the alkaline proteins like collagen and gelatin, all the stuff that oozes out, all that sticky, lovely stuff that oozes out when you have like a sort of bony stewing joint, and organ meats as well, liver and kidneys and heart and that kind of thing. So the other parts of the animal have different proteins that your body really needs as well as the muscle meat. So it's to balance it up. So bone broth and stuff is fantastic. Great way to do it. So
you wouldn't be wasting it. Yeah, and I found that bone broth was something that I could do, and I've done it a few times. And I mean, because
how does it make you feel, Lynnie, when you have bone broth?
It makes me feel really, really good, and I realize that I've been depleting my body of energy and things, and as the mindset, so like the guilt and the other parts that come with having been vegan and all of that just has made it a little tough, so I just work with my mindset, but so I'm working with it, I'm making it happen because it makes me feel good. That's the answer.
Yes.
It makes me feel good, and it tastes good. And when you put in what I've learned in my getting my herbalism class, or getting my certification for herbalism, is that you put in the celery, and so you're getting the potassium and the sodium, which is all natural. You put in your carrots, you put in all the things, the onions and the all the other parts of it, and it just intensifies and magnifies it. It potentiates the nutrition, so it becomes a very nutrient dense food. So Periscope crash. Sorry, Janet. Just come back in. So anyway, that's how. So Renee, I hope that answered your question. And so where would somebody start then? First of all, we kind of pretty much covered that when somebody is leptin resistant, insulin resistant, that they are gaining weight, or they can't lose weight. They're tired.
Can't lose weight, sleeping badly. yeah, gastrointestinal issues. Brain fog is another big one around leptin resistance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's horrible. That brain
Yeah.
fog. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's even like, oh, I don't even want to go with lack of iodine, but I mean, there's so many things that, yeah, that's crazy. Because really, when you get your, it's funny when you have that brain fog and it just like pops and you get clear. It's like, wow, you didn't even know. It's like I didn't even know I had brain fog. I just thought I couldn't remember things. It really
feels a bit like when in the Wizard of Oz, the film, when Dorothy goes from black and white Kansas to full Technicolor Oz. It's like, woo!
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, where can people contact you if they want to learn more about, I mean, because obviously you're learning about leptin resistance. This is kind of, let me see. He said, I had all gastrointestinal problems since I have been young. Yeah, so Renee, probably a good thing to do is exactly to try like the GAPS diet. Elimination diet would be a really good place to start and get rid of what is the top 8. So the gluten, which would be wheat, and soy, dairy, eggs.
Soy, dairy, eggs. Nuts can be a problem. All the lectin foods. Especially the nightshade lectins. So that means tomatoes, red peppers, eggplant.
Even goji berries are nightshades.
Goji berries, yeah, no, isn't that awful? That
yes,
nightshade.
I
But
found
it's
that
just
out
for
a
a
year
few
ago.
weeks while you're healing your gut, just for a few weeks, and just concentrate on getting yourself, clean meat. Bone broth, non-starchy vegetables,
Renee said he likes milk and eggs. You know what? I like a lot of stuff too, but a lot of stuff doesn't like me. So you kind of have to decide: do I want to keep feeling like this, or do I want to explore and see if maybe these things are bothering me, Renee? So that becomes a choice, and that is when you become a conscious creator and decide. And you just take responsibility for your life. So that's where you need to go with that. And a really good diet then would be, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that, and tell me if you would agree with this, Heather, is like the Weston A. Price Foundation is a great place to start, right?
I don't know. I haven't explored their website, but the GAPS diet is good. I think it's quite hard to do for a lot of people, actually, the GAPS diet. It works, but it's quite hard to do. Yeah. I actually think that Jordan Reasoner and Steve Wright, who are very good at doing they are really great proponents of the SCD diet. I think they're probably a better place to start. I think it's a little easier to do their stuff.
Yeah, that's probably even better advice. Stephen Wright, and it's WRIGHT, Stephen Wright, and it's STEPHEN, right? Or is it just Stephen? I don't know, but just look.
I think it's just Steve.
Just look up the SPC, specific carbohydrate diet, SPD.
SCD.
SCD. Specific. All these acronyms. It's like clean, exercise, vegan, have some brain fog, desire to eat incessantly. Janet says she plant-based and she has this incessant desire to eat constantly. And the gap. So that would be Janet and Renee. For everybody listening, SCD. And just Google it. And
just Google it, yeah.
Yeah, because that is a really good place to start. You're absolutely correct.
It's an interesting comment because it was a shock to me, for instance, to realise that all these years my diet had been too low in protein. I'd not been able to get enough protein in as a vegan. I hadn't worked hard enough at it, really. But it is really tough to get enough quality protein, and it was a shock to me as well to find out that my liver does still struggle. I'm not all the way 100% out of the woods. My liver needs certain amino acids, certain proteins that come from those high quality alkaline proteins that I was talking about, the ones that you get in bone broth, the collagen and whatnot. It needs those things to really work properly. So I would suggest that anybody who's having that problem, feeling hungry all the time, I suggest that it's your body's wisdom telling you actually you need nutrients that you're not getting. So it might be an idea to consider whether you could you expand your diet into more of the the high quality animal protein.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, when you have a vegan mindset, and because I don't know, not everybody comes from the same place that is plant-based, but when you have that mindset, it pretty much it becomes, I don't know, for me it's very, very ingrained, and it's really hard to move out of that. So I'm struggling with it. I mean, I admit,
so am I, to be honest.
Yeah, I struggle with it every day. So and that's why I don't have bone broth going in my slow cooker right now. Otherwise I would. So but now you've motivated me to do that again. 30 different quality fruits and veggies more each day. Janet says get 30 different quality fruits and veggies and more each day. I think, the whole thing is that we're all just so different, and our bodies are there is no diet. I mean, I write in my book, I have the perfect diet for you. The perfect diet is whole foods. and when you eat whole foods, and you decide, but and then also take out the things that are bad for you, like consider taking out genetically modified foods. Consider eating more organic. Consider taking out dairy and soy, especially if it's not organic soy that is cultured or fermented, like tempeh and miso and natto, because otherwise it mimics estrogen in your body. And do you really want more estrogen if you just don't? And then you don't want glyphosate that's on the genetically modified foods, or even like the gluten. Most wheat, even if it's not organic, is sprayed with glyphosate. Monsanto's to desiccate it. They spray it so that they can dry it all out at the same time. So you get glyphosate, which attaches to the molecule, attaches to like manganese in your body, which is critical for fertility and other things, and it just pulls it right out of your body. So I mean, it pulls a lot of stuff out of your body. So you just consider taking some things out of your diet that that are in processed foods. Consider eating organic, and consider eating whole foods, and go from there. So Janet says she eats non-GMO and clean. But Janet, you're saying that you are feeling tired, or that you are eating incessantly, and so Heather addressed that, and we were talking about leptin. And so maybe your leptin is just not engaging, correct, Heather?
Yeah, it does sound like that when you're eating all the time and you're just feeling hungry all the time. That I'd say two things. That on the one hand, you're possibly not getting all of the nutrients that your body needs, and that is your body's way of asking you to, go eat something else, add something else to your diet that's very, nutrient dense, because you're not finding it. But yeah, 99 times out of 100, I think that's about leptin resistance, and it's a horrible place to be. It's a horrible place to be. And I agree totally about the...
They say that they don't sell organic food, that it makes no difference. I spoke to a doctor. Okay.
Well, all we can say about that is doctors do not get... They get very little or no training on good nutrition. So, and if you look at most doctors, I'm not sure they're shining examples of the best health always either. So it's up to you whether you want to figure things out for yourself, or whether you want to take the doctor's advice there.
Right, and you might consider looking for a doctor like a naturopath, or a functional medicine doctor, or an integrative medicine doctor. I mean, there are more than one kind of doctor, and there are doctors who do understand nutrition and understand the body, and not just pieces or parts of the body. They look at the whole body and the whole system, and they look for the root cause of problems. So if somebody tells you that, or there's no difference between genetically modified or conventionally raised produce and organic, then I would do my own homework first and foremost. I would get on whatever search engine you use, and I would start doing my own homework, and I would educate myself. And Renee, I think you have my book, so I think that you can really start educating yourself there. If you don't, then just start educating yourself. Okay.
Can I add something to what you said a couple of minutes ago?
Please
you
do.
said, that the real answer is just to eat whole foods, and I agree. But I would add to that, eat whole foods and listen to your body, because your body has all the wisdom that you need, and you listen to it, it'll tell you what it needs, and it'll tell you what foods don't suit you. And that's why things like doing the specific carbohydrate diet can help, because you start from a very simple place where you're eating easy to digest foods that start to heal your gut, and you start to feel much better. And from that point, you expand out, and it becomes very, very obvious then what foods don't suit you. So, was it Renee was saying he likes milk and eggs? If you remember that it's possibly only for a short while, just a few weeks, that you need to eliminate those things from your diet, and then you can introduce them back in and see how you feel.
Exactly. That is such good advice, Heather. I'm so glad you said that, because it really is. I mean, you do first and foremost listen to your body. And right now, if you're not feeling sated after you eat and you're wanting to eat all the time, or if you are low energy or any of those things, your body is screaming. It's saying, hey, and so we're giving you a few clues to listen. Your body's just talking to you. So that is really good advice, Heather. It's true. So eat whole foods, but listen to your body first and foremost, which you are. So Janet says, I have a naturopath doctor. Tests show I am not digesting carbs correctly. I love your book. Thank you, Janet. Not digesting carbs. Ferment them? I don't know. Well, not digesting carbs. Interesting. She's working with a naturopath. I would ask what kinds of carbs that she's finding difficult to digest, because the very starchy carbs, when your gut microbiome, i.e., the bacteria, the good bacteria in your gut that help you digest foods, when those are out of balance, then carbs tend to be one of the things that cause a lot of gastrointestinal distress. And also, if you have inflammation and leaky gut, it tends to be the carbs that are the problem. So it's about coming back to the old-fashioned carbs, the stuff that we used to eat as carbs before all of this hybridization in agriculture and the GM stuff. So you leave out the wheats and the potatoes and the corn and all that kind of stuff, and you go and you switch instead to safer carbs like pumpkin and squash. Sweet potato, I think some people are fine with that sort of thing. So low starch carbs, the old-fashioned stuff. Yes, stuff that is much more easily digested and assimilated. And then, interesting, Heather, when I said maybe fermented food, I'm thinking if you have SIBO, which is small bacterial overgrowth, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Yeah, if you have that, then you don't want to eat fermented foods. So that could be a problem. So fermented foods are great, but I think it's one of those things that you have. If you have SIBO, you start with the exclusion diet. Where it's just keeping it very simple, and then at some point you add them in and you see what happens. Yeah. But fermented foods are fantastic, and I eat tons of those. I know.
But you do need to test your sensitivity to them if you do have SIBO. Start to heal the SIBO first, and then you should be able to add them in, and they'll do you good instead of being a problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in because some people do have problems with that. So, Heather, so Janet she said thank you. She'll try low starch carbs. Perfect.
Excellent.
Perfect. So where can people find you, Heather, if somebody wanted to contact you for more information? Because you are a results coach, and you do get results. Listen to you, go, girly. So where can they find you? Do you have? Well, I put in the title that you are. What is your Twitter handle? It's at Millie.
At Millie Green Teeth. That was one of my nicknames because I was into spirulina in a big way. So
I was wondering about that. I was like, green teeth? What is that?
I was Such a spirulina monster.
Which is not a bad thing to be. And then, okay, so at Millie Green Teeth, which is on the title, so they can find you on there. And do you have your website up and working yet, or are you still working on that?
At the moment, it's just word of mouth recommendations, and that's working fine for the moment. But I am in the process of writing an online course for people with fibromyalgia and any other very low energy condition, and I'm expecting that to be ready to go out in the autumn. So that'll be good fun. That'll be great, actually.
Of course it will. Anything from you is awesome. I love your webinars and everything. You rock it, girlie. I always learn. So, Lisa says, Lisa, where's your picture, girlie? Lisa is also she's more than a health coach, but she is a health coach as well, and she works with women. She's in Canada, and she just said, awesome information.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she has an online course as well. Okay, well, that is really amazing, Heather, and I appreciate you so incredible. Mucho. Renee says, thanks very much, Millie. Yeah, her name is Heather, but we can call her Millie. So
name of mine, so
yeah.
I'll take that.
Okay, so hang on there, Miss Millie. Again, my name is Lynnie Wennerstrom, creator of CrazyAwesomeHealthyYou.com and author of the book 7 Simple Steps to a Crazy Awesome Healthy You. Thank you for joining. You've just watched the show on Periscope only, which is the Beyond Awesome Show. # Beyond Awesome Show. So thank you for joining us today. You've been listening to Heather Litttle-Jones, a results coach located in England, in case you were wondering about that accent that we all fall in love with. So thank you all for joining. Appreciate it. And thank you, Renee and Tupperware Lady, for see you guys tomorrow. And I'm not exactly sure. We kind of have there's a person from London, and she's supposed to be on the show tomorrow, and we'll see if we get that all hooked up for you. She has an amazing story. So yes, it will be awesome on replay. All right, you guys, have a fantabulous day, and we will chat with you later. Thanks again for joining the Beyond Awesome Show on Periscope. Ciao!